Hi, everybody. I've been getting a lot of questions about number 5 on lesson 6's problem set. So I wanted to work through the solution with you because the problem is pretty complex and can be really difficult to solve. If we look at it, it starts with a statement, right? So asking a question at first is just giving you information. It says two rectangular prisms have a combined volume of 432 cubic feet. Prism A has half the volume of prism B. So right away, I think that a lot of people are like, oh, well, if prism A is half the volume of prism B, then we just divide 432 by 2, right? No. And here's why. Because if you think about it, if prism A has half the volume of prism B, then prism B is 2 times as big as prism A. So if we have that information, if we go to the first question, that'll help us solve it, right? Because it says what is the volume of prism A and prism B? Because if we just divided it by 2, then that means prism A and prism B would be the same, but it doesn't say that. It says that prism B is bigger than prism A. So if we think about that, prism B is 2 times as big as prism A. If we make a tape diagram, that means for every one prism A, there are 2 prism Bs, right? So we know this is going to be 3 parts. So we can be like B, and this is A. Okay. So now I know if this is going to be divided into 3 parts. Now I'm going to divide 432 by 3 to figure out how much one of these is. So 3 goes into 4 one time. That's 13. We got 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Bring down that 1. 4 times 3 is 12. And that gives us 144. So that means 144 is going to go here. 144 and 144. Now we can answer this question, right? Because it says, what is the volume of prism A? Well, it's one of these. So A is 144 cubic feet, and B is 2 of these, so B is 288 cubic feet. So that's part A. So now part B, we move into that. And like I said, this is one of those where you have to carry information from each part in order to solve the next part. So if we go to part B, it says, if the area of the base of prism A is 24 square feet, what is the height? So let's think about this. The formula for volume is length times width times height, right? So, and the formula for area is length times width. So this 24 already gives us 2 parts of that equation, right? This is going to be length times width. So we know that volume is length times width times height. And we know that that's going to be 144 from part A of the problem. So we know the volume of A is 144. So we know length times width times height is 144. Well, if we know the area of part of this, then we know that length times width part is already done. So now we're saying 24 times the height equals 144. So 24 times blank is 144. Well, if we want to know what that is, we just divide 144 by 24. So let's see, 24 can't go into 1, can't go into 14, so it has to go into 144 altogether. Well, if I think about it, 124 is half of 12, right? And I know that 144 divided by 12 is 12. So 144 divided by 24 is 6. And I can check that over here, right? So 24 times 6. 6 times 4 is 4. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 2 is 144. So So that tells me right now that my height, my missing h here, is going to be 6 feet. Okay, so now, of course, they get even more complicated, and they tell us, well, if prism B's base is 2/3 the area of prism A's, what is prism B's height? Okay, well, we know that 2/3 of the area. So we know, remember, 2/3 of, if we go back to when we were in school, we got 2/3 of 24. Well, that of, we know, means 2/3 times 24. And remember, when you multiply a fraction by a whole number, we just do the numerator by the whole number, and that gives us 2 times 4, which is 48 thirds. So 48 thirds is 16. But that just gives us the area. So basically, this 16 feet is the same thing as this 24 was in part B. So I'm going to take this 16 feet. Well, now I have to go all the way back to part A. What was the volume of B? Well, it was 288. So if the area of one of those faces is 16 feet, so again, we've got length times width times height equals 288. We get that information from part A. So this 16 is what goes in that length times width part, because that's the area of the base. So now I got 16 times height is 288. So now I do the exact same thing. What is 288 divided by 16? Because 16 times blank is 288. So I've got, let's see, 16 goes into 28 one time. 1 times 16 is 16. And 28 minus 16 is 12, 128. 8 times 16 is 128. So that tells me that the height for prism B is 18 feet. So I know that's a whole lot, and this is a really, really complex problem for 5th grade. So if you did sort this out, excellent job. If you didn't, you need a little help from me to walk through it with you, also fine, right? If you have any questions about this, please let me know, and good luck.